ground, all of that peaty soil is covered. If it's exposed like that, it dries out and it can destroy the roots underneath it. So we just want to make sure that it goes into that level. And it should be really easy, it should be fairly quick. So if there isn't already a bare patch, just give it a scuff. So you've got a bit of bare soil. And you probably remember from last year just doing like a little notch. So you can do like a T shape. Put it back in the first one, rip it open, and as long as that's deep enough to take the tree with that peaty soil all disappearing, that's it. Still got to cover it. If it ends up something like that, well, it's dead. It's going to die. So that's the thing to do, just to keep quality control in it, basically. And particularly with the younger ones, if they're just not quite strong enough, you might just need to help them dig the hole a little bit deeper. But that's what we're after, and not that way. You can see it sticking out.
Basically, you want right this way.
It says, yeah. Well, I suppose the other thing that you want to be aware of is the opposite of it, where you haven't got enough of that, or sorry, it's not all in. Is that you overdo it. So the other thing you don't want to do is that. If you bury it too far, so you're covering that bark, it will have the same effect, it will still die. So you really want it just so you've got that peaty stuff just below the surface. Pinch it back with your heel, and that should be fine. Now the extra bit is this bit.
One foot, if you notice on this block, all the stakes are on the same side of the tube. And that's because on this side, railing wind is coming that way across, so we want the stake kind of upwind generally. And what we'll do when we get over there is give me like a church or a pylon. We're going to go on this side, secondary tree, these just planted. Because the diameter of the tube is about a couple of inches across, so your stake wants to be about an inch away from your tree, so that when these ties go over your stake, the tree's in the middle of the tube. So if we put my stake here, I'd miss it. If we put the stake right up against the tree, to rub it against the bark. So I usually go about the distance between that thumb knuckle and that knuckle, roughly that distance, away from the tree. Stake has to go on first. Stake goes in first. Because you're going to tie the tube to the stake. So one thing to think about is the distance from the tree. So it's about that far, about an inch away from the stake. Right to this way. And then the other thing to think about is how far in you knock it. If you knock it in, so what I usually go for is first the top of the tube. Tops of the tubes are fluted outwards slightly at the top. See, the bottom of the tube is just straight. And that's so when the wind blows, the tree's going to be blowing backwards and forwards. And it's fluted out so that the top of the tube doesn't catch the bark and stuff the bark. So that's your top. They're nested in threes. Sometimes you see people have put them on. You have to do. And I want the top of the stake, when the stake's in, to be about a thumb's length away from that top tie. If you hammer the stake right in, you'll miss that top tube. And if you don't hammer it in far enough, it'll blow over, it'll get knocked out. So I usually say from the top of the stake to that top tie, about a thumb's length, because that one up, you don't do nothing. So as high as me, top of my kneecap. So my height, my height. So these ties, make sure they're kind of pulled out so you don't trap the tree in the middle. The ties go over the top of the stake. And the tube goes over the tree. And you need to give it a couple of taps down so it's really flush with the ground, otherwise it unfolds. If you leave it like that, something will nibble the bottom of it. The bolt will nibble it. So it needs to be given a couple of taps down so it's flush with the ground. And then these little square collars on the ties, if you have that flush up against the corner of your post, you can get it really nice and tight. If you leave that corner in the middle of your post, it stays a bit baggy. So always kind of turn that around so it's on the corner and get it a lot tighter. Give it another few more tighter, yeah. So then that's nice and tight. So I've got the right distance from the stake to the tree, so now the tree's right in the middle of the tube. The distance from the top of my stake to my first tie is about a thumb's length, and then I know that I've got that much of my stake in the ground. Yeah. If I knocked it in so that the top of the stake was up here somewhere, you don't have like that much in